अब और क्या चाहिए?
एक गाना सुनाइए ना।
I think it's been 6-7 years since I last caught up with Girija, and
Yes.
that
I
was,
finished Lady Special in 2019.
I know, and we spoke over the phone, and lo and behold, the next thing I know is that she has literally signed up for one of the biggest Indian films of this year, which is Jawan, with the legendary Shah Rukh Khan, and with an amazing star cast of some talented women, including Nayanthara and Deepika Padukone. I mean, Girija, as excited as I am for you, I'm sure you must have been equally very excited when you got the call for it.
It was actually quite surreal the way it all happened. I tested for another part in the film. Once the film is out, I could tell you what part I tested for. So not this one. And then I got called back in for a screen test for a different part. And it's after that that the casting director told me that the director would like to meet you. And I knew that Atlee was directing it, and that Atlee has been one of my most favorite, mainstream Tamil directors. I have seen almost all of his films. I've seen Mirsal, I've seen Bigil, and I have really liked the films that he makes. So I was very excited to meet him, and I didn't know where it was going, and I didn't know whether I was actually going to be part of the film, but I was just meeting him, and then it all worked out. And for a while, it was all very surreal. It didn't feel like it was actually happening. And then so many different people are part of this film, and so many amazing names that I got to share screen with, that it's all just been a lovely ride. And we've spent 2 years making this film. So it's been a long time that we've all really given our efforts and energies towards this. And I'm really hoping that people love it.
Oh gosh, I'm already thrilled. The trailer left us all on chokehold, I think, to be honest. It was so great. And I'm really excited to see it. And I'm glad you mentioned about Atlee as well, because I think one thing that I like, even though his films often have a male superstar in the lead, there's also a very strong concept and theme of women fighting back, and I love that. Chahe wo Bigil aap le lo, that's a classic example as well. And even in Jawan as well, we see, like I mentioned in the introduction, that there is a really good lineup of some female talents, including some notable faces who began from television, like, of course, Riddhi Dogra, who I think is exceptional. So how do you feel about the sort of roles that we're seeing now, I think generally, about women doing action? Because I know you must have done a lot of that for the film too.
Obviously, it's extremely heartening, and it's a great feeling as a woman in the industry, as an actor, a female actor, to see the kind of roles that are coming up, that are being written. A lot of female writers and makers are also writing better, more rounded characters, which is all extremely heartening. I'm of the opinion that I think it's time to slowly start to push the envelope and slowly start to experiment with women characters that are more lived in, that are not cardboard cutouts, that don't represent a certain sort of a aspect in the story that you need a feminine energy to stand for. They're more sort of lived in real characters. And I love that about this film also, that they're all really interesting women, and they're not cardboard cutouts of any sort. I feel like Nayanthara has a very interesting part in the film, and so does Deepika, which is a special appearance. And all six of us also play a fairly important part, as a team. And it's lovely to see that people are willing to sort of write more wholesome parts for women, and it's only hopefully going to get better from here on. And I also am not of of the opinion that it's all going to just change overnight, or I'm also not of the opinion that we need to have like more female centered films. They need to be stories, and they need to be real people's stories. Real people, as in this story that I'm talking about, that I'm part of, is not a real space story. It's a big, larger than life sort of a representation. But there is a very interesting human element to all of these characters, and I think we need better characters more than male, female. We just need them all to be written better and thought of better. And that started to happen. So it's really heartening. And because you mentioned action, it was a lot of fun to go through the training, to actually be able to do so many fun things. I don't know how much of it is actually made to the final cut, because there's always, you shoot so much, and then Atlee has a very crisp and a very edgy style of editing. His films look a certain, a certain way. So I don't know how much of it has actually made it to the final edit, but it was a lovely process to be part of. Very exciting.
And I think this is also very special because this is almost your first official professional encounter with Tamil cinema in a way as well, even though it is a Hindi film. Because I know you've done a Kannada film as well before. So I think
I have.
this is quite special, the fact that you're sort of getting in to get that flavor. So what did you discover a lot? Because I think once you watch a film, but then when you're acting in it with that director under his vision, what did you discover the most about the way perhaps Tamil filmmakers work and their approach to action and the sort of larger than life cinema that we are all used to seeing in Hindi as well?
It's a whole different culture, and it's a whole different way of storytelling. And what I love about Tamil cinema and Telugu and Malayalam and Kannada cinema, for that matter, is that they have a very how do I put it? The cinema is really rooted in their land, and they have an identity, and which is why it appeals to everybody, because it's coming from a space of a lot of clarity. They know where their roots are, and they know the soil that they're in, and their films and their ideas and their thoughts come from there. So and I feel about Hindi cinema lands up catering to a huge part of northern India and central India, and a little bit of western India as well. And if you look at Maharashtra versus Rajasthan versus Madhya Pradesh versus Uttar Pradesh versus Uttarakhand and Jammu Kashmir, you see how culturally diverse these states are. But they all speak Hindi. I mean, Maharashtra doesn't primarily speak Hindi, but almost everybody who speaks Marathi also speaks Hindi. So they watch Hindi cinema, is what I mean. So all of these other states, you see how diverse they are in terms of their culture and their idea of storytelling. Hindi cinema just gets sort of diluted, catering to a huge, whereas Tamil cinema is very focused on a smaller geographical region, and hence I feel it's more rooted, and hence it's more appealing to a global audience. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
It's coming from a very real space. It's coming from a very
authentic,
honest, authentic, rooted space. And I feel it was very exciting to see how mass cinema or something that is done in a sort of a stylized manner in order to make it look larger than life, how that is made, and especially with a director like Atlee, because I feel like while he's shooting something, there's like in some parallel side of his brain, there's like this edit that's on, and he can almost see it, like he can almost see his shots lined up, and he's parallelly being able to see the film, which is fascinating, because in the middle of some sort of planned shoot, he would just come up with some very interesting idea for a shot, and the moment you shot it, you saw him shoot it, you would know that it's going to fit in so well in the sequence that you're doing, and this is just going to add that little that excitement, that extra something when you're watching a scene and when you're watching somebody, say maybe you're watching a fight and you're watching your hero land punches on the villain and there's just sort of something happening, then Atlee would take like this extreme close up of just like a turn, and that would add the drama that was missing in the whole sequence. So one little close up of like a small movement of some part of the costume, like maybe like a some sort of accessory that's dangling, and then in like high speed you see like that little dangle with a drop of blood next to like he knows how to
it's the details, right?
It's the detail, and it's the flair with which he introduces drama in a choreography, and I find that fascinating.
Right.
Firstly, it's difficult to get over the fact that you're breathing in the same room as Mr. SRK. So it took me some time to just like sort of get over the fact that I'm here and this is happening and this is real. I kind of just wanted to keep pinching myself. But what I absolutely adore about this man is the amount of grace he has with everything he does. There is no pretense. There is no he's just really that graceful and that gracious a person. So he was doing this one shot in which he was supposed to say a line, and then there was sort of a movement with the line. He was supposed to do like a walk and a spin of sorts. And we had shot a master, like we had shot a wider of that, and then we'd shot another magnification of it, like a slightly closer up, and this was a separate another shot of the same. But how if you have started an action on one particular dialogue, you need to remember when you've taken that spin on the same dialogue, because then the editor will not have a problem cutting it. Because if that shot gets cut mid-action, then they will have to paste the next magnification of that shot from the same movement. So you'll have to have that spin happening at the exact same dialogue every time and in the exact same way. So he did 2-3 of those takes in different magnifications. And then the last time we were doing it, he took that little spin one line before he was supposed to, in the flow of it. And he finished it and he stopped and he said, sorry guys, that wasn't right. I was supposed to do this on. So he remembers this himself. He remembers all of his action continuities, what he did and how he did, and he's technically just like on point always. So he did that, and we all realized that, oh yeah, he had done that spin on that other line, and then we were going for the one more. So while they set it up for the one more shot, one more take, there were a lot of junior artists sitting around. He apologized to the junior artists for having, for putting them through another take because of his fault, sort of his fault. And he genuinely, and it's happened in front of me, so I know it's not just, sort of for the sake of it. He genuinely looked at a bunch of them and said, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. One more for me, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And then he got ready for the other one. And when I saw that, he didn't have to. This is part and parcel of the game. There are going to be retakes. We're going to have to do the same thing multiple times. It's going to be late in the night and we may not want to do it again, but we still have to do it again. We know this is the game. We all know how to play it. He didn't have to apologize, but he did. That's the man he is. And there's nothing false or superficial about it. He didn't, like I said, he didn't do it for the sake of it. He actually apologized.
Wow.
And it is inspiring on so many levels. He is Shah Rukh Khan. He doesn't need to do any of this. But there he is being, at the audio launch, which happened just day before yesterday in Chennai, he literally, took the stage and used that opportunity to say this in front of 5,000 people in Chennai that I signed up to do this film because I could learn, so that I could learn from Vijay Sethupathi, so that I could learn from Atlee, and that I was just really looking forward to this whole experience of getting to learn from these people. You don't have to say that. You are, you know who you are, right?
Of
The whole
course.
stadium was shouting and chanting his name. But that's the man. That's the man for you. And I'm so glad that that we are this generation that has witnessed the rise and the growth of Shah Rukh Khan as a phenomenon.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Wow. What a lovely anecdote. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. A lot of the roles that you've played, Girija, have been quite mature in essence. I feel like, there are ones of responsibility, fighting again, maybe burdens of sorts. Uh, to create a space for yourself where you are playing mature roles, I think in an industry like this is quite tough because, there's always a set convention that filmmakers, producers always look out for. So one is always privy to fighting that. Do you feel like for a while you've had to really fight that as well? Fight that sort of the fact that you're not a conventional or you might not be a sort of run of the mill heroine per se.
I don't really see it that way. I feel like I have only chosen work that has appealed to me on some level, and I have been fortunate enough to be able to have that choice, because there's a lot of people out there who may not have that choice. You have to survive in this industry. You have to keep doing work, and you may not always have, you can either have multiple options to choose from, or you need to be able to wait. And waiting is not easy for an actor. It's an extremely insecure space to be in. You don't know what's coming for you next, and you don't know if anything is coming at all. So, the first instinct for an actor is to take what you get. And fortunately for me, I've always had other work that I've kept doing, that has kept, I do theater, I do ads, I do a lot of other things as well, apart from mainstream fiction, which sort of keeps me afloat and gives me the choice to pick my roles better. And also, I've been fortunate with some very, very interesting parts that have come my way. But again, I have been a quintessential heroine in the beginning of my career, a slight damsel in distress also sometimes, and I really haven't had a problem in playing that. I feel you can do something very exciting with whatever you're given. It's about how you approach the part. It's about how your director is willing to work with you on it, and any work can be great work as long as you're committed to making it work and making it count and making it worth your time and the viewer's time. So honestly, I really haven't struggled per se. I do feel like I have a lot more to offer, and there's a lot that I can do, and there's a lot that I want to do. And But I'm also extremely secure in the feeling that the work that's cut out for me will come for me, and that I will keep doing work even past my so-called heroine age, or how women are always told that they have a shelf life. And I keep feeling that maybe it's just hopeless optimism of some sort, or some sort of I don't know what to call it. I hope it's not pride, or sort of. I hope I'm not sounding immodest when I'm saying this, but I genuinely hope I have a lot to offer, and I have a lot that I want to do and I can do, and I feel like I will keep doing it till I am gray and old and I can't move anymore. And I want to keep acting, and I want to keep attempting as many different things as possible. And fortunately, I keep getting opportunities like that. in my own small way. And I'm grateful for that.
For sure. And you've also got another very interesting project as well coming up, I think called The Vaccine War.
That was also a really fascinating experience. I came on board that film very last minute. Um, and I had very little time to do any sort of preparation. So we are all in the film playing real people. These are stories of actual people. So we're all playing roles of people that still live in flesh and blood. And I have had the opportunity of meeting the person that I play, but I only met her after the film. I So we weren't really aiming at modeling the characters um, around the physical appearances or attributes of these people, because it's not like playing Indira Gandhi. It's because we all know what Indira Gandhi looks like. We want sort of some physical resemblance. If you know that a character is playing like one of these Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru type characters,
Yeah.
these are all real. These are all real people. These aren't really sort of characters like those. So we weren't. I don't think Vivek Agnihotri was very specific about imitating them in any way, or sort of copying their sort of clothing style or their. But we did pick up on elements from their personalities, because that way then we could shape it into a character, which was also part of a story that was being told. So we're all people who are then part of a larger story that's being told. So in order to make those people more real and believable, we did pick up a few attributes from the actual people's, say maybe mannerisms, demeanors, appearances as well. So it was very exciting to sort of look at the actual person's pictures and videos, and to say, maybe I could use this, maybe I could use a little bit of that, and then I build a character based on my understanding. And turns out we had a screening, and we actually had a lot of people who have worked closely with this person that I play, who were gobsmacked because they did not know that I had never met this person before playing her in the film. And they were absolutely amazed at how I have nailed her demeanor right. We obviously look very different. I've tried to do some things in the film for the way I look, but we are very different looking people in general. But a lot of people thought I was her in the film. And similarly about Pallavi Joshi as well, who's also in the film. She has almost become the person that she's playing. And it was a very interesting way of working. And both Pallavi and Vivek sir are absolutely amazing producers. It's one of the best production experiences I've had in my life.
Wow.
We were really well taken care of, and it was just a lovely, healthy set to work on. And just logistically and production wise, you need things to be in order for you to then focus on the other thing as an actor. And they both made sure that we were comfortable, we were taken care of, we were okay on set, and we never had to ask for anything twice. We were really pampered on set. Very good food, really good people, just really conducive, happy, nice atmosphere for work to happen in.
I think the subject matter is as such though, right? Because it's talking about the vaccines during the pandemic as well that were created, made in India. And I think that was such an incredible achievement as well, and a wonderful accomplishment. And I think even if we think about it, Jawan and Vaccine War, I think both of them actually look at Indian valor from a different lens, from a different perspective.
That's true.
That
That
is
is true.
really,
And from a completely different lens.
yeah, and I think that is something really powerful, actually, I must say. But again, just to speak a bit more about Vaccine War, because I'm sure it is really looked up to as well as a film. What did you discover the most about the creation of the pandemic vaccines? That is something that maybe you never knew before.
So there's a lot of things that I actually found out for the first time. And you know how during the lockdown and post it also, all of us were just fed with so much information about what was going on, what was happening, what could be happening, what were the theories about what may have happened, and how did this all start, why did this happen, and what are we doing now, and what is being done about it, and how this did not work out or this did work out. And there's just so much information that was sent towards us during the lockdown. Also, we had nothing better to do but to consume all of this information, because there was nothing else to do during that time. So we're just sitting in front of the television set almost all day consuming information, which is what most of us were doing. What I realized was that I didn't really seek any information out, because I just knew too much already. I took whatever was fed to me, and there was a certain kind of information that was coming out. It depended on, obviously, for me, I'm saying it depended on the kind of things that how algorithms keep suggesting you stuff that you have been looking for. So there's only one sort of an angle to everything that you are looking at, and you may entirely miss another angle. And if you're a sane person, you put it all together, you learn to objectively look at information as information and not from a gaze or a point of view. I found out some absolutely basic facts about the whole pandemic and the virus itself, the development of vaccine, that I had no idea about. And I thought I had a lot of information, because I did have a lot of information. I just didn't have this information and that information. And I didn't know this and I didn't know. And it was amazing how, when all of it was compiled together and presented in this sort of a way in which in the film it is, I felt incredibly proud of what our country was able to manage during the pandemic. And that the film has this slogan which says India can do it, because there was a publication who had published an article about this, saying India cannot do it. And the film is sort of an answer to that, where India can do it. And I was extremely pleasantly surprised to know what went behind actually for India to be able to do it, because we actually did do it. We are all here sitting. I'm sitting here in India, fully vaccinated. We've gone through 2-3 waves of COVID, and we've been able to come out of it, obviously with tremendous loss and so much that went on. But none of us were prepared for what we were hit with. And as a country, I think we really did our best. And I was so happy to actually be able to read about stuff that India could do, and that India did manage to do, that I felt amazing. I felt great. And kudos to the people that were behind this. We actually got to meet them and talk to them, and we got to talk to people at ICMR and NIV and BSL4, and these 3 institutions together comprise of close to 70% women that work in them. They're all scientists, most of them. Other staff as well. And it's phenomenal what they've been able to do. We were the fastest country to develop an indigenous vaccine from scratch. And it's an incredible feat. Yeah. And there's so many other. Did you know this?
Which one?
Did you know this point? Did you know that we were the fastest country? Exactly. So there are hundreds of things like these that I found out, and I just kept going, wow, really? And it was just amazing.
And it's just quite ironic as well, because we just recently had Chandrayaan, and then I think the solar launch that happened as well today. There's also another huge achievement that's happened. So it's great to see, I think, definitely India as a country rising up. And I think it's good to see films of this nature really showcasing that. But of course, Girija, you do have a body of work behind you. After Jawan, how do you hope that it will give you more mainstream attention? People will notice you more, number one. And number two, are you necessarily concerned about people actually noticing you on a mainstream level? There's a two-part question, quite opposite each other, really, but I thought it'd be nice to get your opinion.
I don't know. I don't know. I just want to keep doing good work, and I want to keep doing work that makes makes me happy, and that makes my audiences happy, and that I can really bring about a shift of some sort, a change of some sort in their minds and in their ideas about life. I feel like being in the mainstream of sort, being seen more, heard more, being popular, being famous, just gives you slightly that much more attention for you to bring about maybe a change, for you to attempt different things, and to it's just more eyeballs towards you. So I would definitely want that, like that. Who doesn't? I mean, we all as actors sign up for this. We want to be seen and we want to be heard, and that's the idea why we put ourselves in front of the audiences, so they can see us. So I'll be very happy if more and more people start to know me and see me and want to put me in better parts in bigger films and series and all kinds of things. I also do a lot of theater on the side. I'll be very happy if my name becomes so popular that I fill theater shows, and more people come to watch me perform live. That will make me extremely happy. I'm fascinated with the way a lot of British actors and a lot of American actors also, for that matter, continue to do theater and do mainstream cinema. So Benedict Cumberbatch, and so many of them. Also, that's the first name that came to my mind. So I said that so many of them are doing such amazing experiments in theater, and they have Marvel films as well, coming out. And I really feel we could make that happen here, because there's such a beautiful, big, diverse theater scene in the country, and they've always been different actors for that, and then there've been different actors for this, and a lot of people who study primarily drama, but theater also a lot in NSD, don't land up doing theater. You see a lot of them doing cinema, which is not wrong at all, or good or bad. It's absolutely one's choice. But I feel like theater is regarded as something that you come from. It's like a graduating school. I come from theater, and now I'm doing films. I feel like you do your films, you do your series, and you do your television shows, and then you come back to theater. Or you keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
And keep doing it, keep practicing it, because that's a medium that's alive, and that's, if there's anywhere that you can actually gauge what's going on while it's going on, and that feeling of whether this is reaching something, whether this is striking a frequency of some sort, whether there's some resonance, that feeling is very tangible in theater. You can actually sense it while you're performing live. And I absolutely am fascinated by that. If you ask me what is my favorite medium, you did not ask me that question, but I'm answering it for you. Any which ways, it is live performance, it is theater. So I hope all of these things together can put me in better projects, in better roles, and I hope more and more people appreciate it. I don't think I've ever had the dream of being a star. I don't associate with that idea a lot. I absolutely am a huge fan of a star that I just worked with, and his stardom is something that's almost surreal to me, and I've seen it. But it's never been my aspiration, if you honestly ask me. And I'm not trying to sound, morally high here, or trying to sound like a geek here, and sort of say, that मेरा वो अंगूर मिले नहीं इसीलिए वो खट्टे हैं वाला point नहीं है. But I have never been able to see myself as a star or a celebrity. I have always wanted to act. I've always wanted to bring very, very interesting stories to life, and I've always wanted to cause a change. And I know that cannot be done without popularity, because that's how your people are watching you. So I hope I can marry these two somehow. After Jawan, I hope more and more of these opportunities come my way, and I hope I can do more substantial work.
Oh, definitely. I mean, more power to you on that. And the fact that, you began with your career and a lot of your screen work has been with Marathi cinema, which I personally think is doing so well now, as well, generally. I mean, non-Hindi films generally are picking up so rapidly now, and pan-India appeal is happening. I think it's great as well that you've been a part of that since its very beginning. And I'm really hoping the best for you, and I cannot wait to see you on the big screen for Jawan, which releases on 7th September, finally.
Thank you.
Lovely. Girija, it's always such a pleasure to have you on filmishilmy.com. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. It's been such a great
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really, really do want to thank you, not just one for asking me really interesting questions, unlike most interviews where we we sort of have recorded answers to everything, and also thank you for doing your research on me. Especially when you said, I know you've done a Kannada film, I was thoroughly impressed because not a lot of people know that about me. So it not just makes the conversation interesting, it also makes you feel valued and special when you're being interviewed, and the person that is interviewing you or is trying to talk to you knows about you, has had taken the time and the pain to really go through the work that you've done and has come prepared. It is such a beautiful feeling. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad you're doing this.
Thank you. No, no, no. It's a two-way thing, honestly. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even have an interview. So thank you so much for taking the busy time out. I mean, I can't wait. Honestly, I've been so excited for Javan. And when I saw the talent names, I was like, we gotta get some of these actors on our platform because they're too good for us to miss out. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ginger. Thank you.